Hey guys, welcome back to one of my budgeting videos, but it is not like a normal budgeting video. This one is specifically about, what's the word? Sinking funds, but not like your long-term savings sinking funds for like your big bills. More like if you do cash budgeting and you use the envelopes, this is going to be my version of how I'm going to be doing the envelope system for budgeting. So way back, pre-2020, I did do cash envelopes, cash budgeting, all of that sort of a thing, and it worked really well for me. And then I continued with it partway through 2020, but then everybody stopped taking cash. So I had to start revamping things because if you can't pay with cash, what's the point in pulling it out? Yeah, so that kind of happened. And now when I was going through at the beginning of 2023 and figuring out what I want to do for my budget and what my plans and goals and whatnot are and what I really need to focus on, I decided that I wanted to go back to cash budgeting and using the envelope system because it worked really well for me and I'm struggling. So I thought, let's go back to basics, create all the different spending categories for your like money throughout the weeks in between paychecks, and let's just get to it. So I was so gung-ho about it that the irony, I spent money. I bought these absolutely adorable envelopes off of like Wish. They're all like shaky. Now I thought I bought two, but I actually bought two sets. So I have 6 of these little envelopes that, I mean, they don't seem so bad, you know, like they have like the little zipper opening thing. They smell a little bit of plastic, but you know, I'll air them out and it's fine. However, after I had purchased them and they were on the way and I was committed to them, so I wasn't going to be able to return them, I had a thought, and that was really just like, I don't know, I didn't want to wait for them to show up before I started actually divvying out the money and figuring out the categories. And then I came up with what I think for me will be a better solution, because I like to carry minimal stuff with me. And I don't know, while I was excited for carrying the cash envelopes around again and being that level of control with my money, I don't know. I have tiny purses. It just seemed like, how was I actually going to effectively do this? So I have a Wealthsimple account. I've talked about it on my budgeting videos. I have a savings account in there with high interest. And as part of having it, you get a card. So it used to be a Visa card, and then they changed their system at some point and it became like a MasterCard debit. So you have to load money onto the card in order to use the card for spending. You can't put yourself in debt with it. You can't go into a negative. It's not a credit card, it's a debit card. And I was like, maybe I will use that. So what I do is the money that I have set into the budget for like my, I think it's called discretional spending, extra spending, you know, like my groceries and fun and miscellaneous, and I can't think of my categories all of a sudden. The cat, you know, like things that you know you're going to be spending money on, so you fit it into your budget, but they're not big bills. They're like things where you're going into shops and whatnot. I move that money every payday weekend over to the MasterCard debit. And then that is what I use for my spending in between paychecks. I have even gone so far as to hook it up to my Skip the Dishes and my Amazon and my Wish account. And I'm trying to think of where else I spend money off of online. Oh, I've added it into my PayPal, so that when I'm doing shopping online, like say if I'm ordering my takeout, I can actually use that card. I don't have to like use the credit card and then like pay it off right away. Like it all just comes out from that MasterCard debit. Now, I have been piling up receipts, but I'm not super organized with this yet. And I really shouldn't have let them just pile up because I didn't really know how I was going to track it. I did create in my phone in a notes document, like little graphs. And so each one is categorized for each of the different, well, categories. And then with like the starting balance. And then as I spend in it, like taking out like, you know, like negative this many dollars, and then I have to manually do the math. It's not like it's an Excel spreadsheet that I can do a formula, but then at least that way I have on me at all times kind of like a running tally of how much I've been spending, so that I can't really mess up the categories too much. But I like paper stuff, and so I've been sort of saying yes to receipts when I remember to, and I got these adorable little mini composition books, and I'm going to create, just wait, I won't be able to open it now. I'm going to create a little book format to track the money that I'm spending. I'm going to see if I can manage to still keep up to date with the one that's on my phone, because there are times when I go out with literally just my phone. So I don't want to be fully reliant on having all of the data in the book. Oh, there's a purple one in there. Because there's going to be times I go out without it. But at least it'll help me, because in this way I'll be able to keep the book with my actual budgeting books here as well, in a way, like just to cross-reference everything. And yeah, so this video is really just going to be about me getting this in line. I'm going to fill in one of these and get them all set and bring everything up to date. And then I'll kind of go through it with you and show you what I'm talking about to give you a visualization for what my digital money envelopes are. Okay, I'll be back in a bit. Hey guys, okay, I'm back. The chaos of the receipts has been fixed, which is always so nice feeling. So I did update the digital sort of tracking thing that I have in my phone, but I don't have any way of showing it to you because I record using my phone. So, but I did the book. So what I've done is each page, am I centered here? I kind of am. So I started with groceries. So the variable spending sinking funds that I have are groceries, Striker, who is my cat, takeout, miscellaneous, fun, work, parking, and gas. I live a very exciting life, clearly. So for groceries, like I said earlier, I'm using gift cards right now to buy my groceries. So I put in $120 on January the 5th, and then I added $80 more on January 15th, so I have $200. And I figure I'll just sort of keep adding to it, and it doesn't hurt to have like a buffer, right? And also I can, well, I'll show you what else I can do with it. So Striker gets $27.50 bi-weekly. So on the 5th of January, I put in $55 just to like start everything off, because of course this is new to me this year. So none of these had a budget being rolled over from last year. January 11th, I overspent $60.46, which put it into a negative of $5.46. I need a litter and a new litter box. So the litter is a normal expenditure, the litter box not so much. And actually the litter, I found somewhere that I can buy it for cheaper, so it won't be this much money being spent. So it was an anomaly, but I knew that I could go a bit into the negatives because I knew that I was not spending in the groceries. So there was going to be money in the account, well, on the MasterCard debit card sitting in the balance. Like I wasn't going to go into a negative, but that's not really how I want to be using these things where I'm borrowing from each one. But you technically can if you want. Just like with cash spending, when you have the envelopes, if one envelope doesn't have quite enough, you can yank from another if you want to use it to cover. It's up to you. January 15th, I added in $27.50, the biweekly amount, which put it at a balance of $22.04, because of course I had to make up for that negative. And then on the 14th, these are kind of out of order because like I did shopping on the 14th because payday was technically the 13th. So I knew I was going to be putting more money back into this balance. So I shopped on the day that I had the opportunity to do the shopping, even though I didn't add in the balance or the new funding to the account until today. It's all wonky, but it all makes sense, I promise. So on the 14th, I spent $34.78 on his overpriced cat food and treats because he's picky. So I'm back in the negatives to $12.74. His is the one that I thought I would never be in the negatives for, but here we are. But again, it's okay because all of the money for all of these different variable sinking funds is sitting on the MasterCard debit as like one lump sum total that I'm pulling from every time I spend. So being over in the grocery category is giving me a little bit of like a buffer for this. So I suppose I could go and technically write in this one like minus $12.74, like to bump it up to there, but they're not actual physical envelopes. It's all on the card. So it's kind of okay. To me, it's okay. Takeout, $50 bi-weekly. January 5th, started it with $50. On the 7th, I spent $48.89 on takeout, which is an abnormal amount for me. I feel like I'm saying abnormal a lot for this. I've had a friend over who was helping me build IKEA furniture, and I bribed her by offering to buy dinner. So it left me with a $1.11 balance. And then today I topped it back up 50 more bucks. So I have $51.11. Miscellaneous, $50 bi-weekly. Started it with $50 on the 14th. I spent $6.61, I think it was at a dollar store. On the 15th, $27.27. That was for brunch. And then on the 15th, topped it back up with 50 more bucks. And then also on the 15th, $8.61 on a overpriced hot chocolate that I could not taste because I still don't have the senses of taste or smell, but I keep buying food in the hopes that that will be the thing that I can finally taste or smell. And it was a cookies and cream hot chocolate. It looked amazing. Nothing. I got nothing. It was really sad. So was that brunch, actually. It was waffles with syrup and whipped cream and a blueberry compote, and I could taste nothing. I got like a little bit into it and I had to stop because like it was just so not okay. Fun, 50 bi-weekly. So I started with 50 on January 5th. I spent $12.61 and then another $18, both on the same day on the 7th. That was at IKEA. So one of those was at like the cafeteria. I bought my lunch and then dinner, lunch, whatever it was. And then also I bought the food that the friend who later on was helping me with the building of the furniture. I bought her stuff as well. And then the other one, I can't remember which was at like the end after you've done your shopping. I bought some stuff from the frozen food category, and I bought a sundae. Yeah, it was a sundae with that lingonberry sauce on it. Couldn't taste it. Got about halfway through. I'm really throwing away food or money every time I buy food. It's ridiculous. Where am I at? The 14th, $27.86. What was that? I don't know if I should be writing what these things were or not because it doesn't really matter. But yeah, $27.86 on fun. On the 14th. Oh, that would have been with Faye again. Sorry, my friend, the one from IKEA. I say again, I don't think I told you her name. We went for brunch after exercising on Saturday to completely, you know, defeat the exercising that we did. That was where I ate the waffles I was telling you about that I got no flavor out of. So that left me in the negative of $8.47. But again, because I knew that the paycheck had actually come in on the 13th and I just hadn't sat down to do the budget, this wouldn't have been a negative if I'd done the budget on the Friday like I should have and like put the money in on that day. So, you know, it's like a false negative. So on the 15th, when I actually sat down and did the budget today, I added in $50. So I'm at a balance of $41.53. Work parking, I may have to change how I rate this because this is going to be like a 5 days a week expenditure of $8 each time, as you can see. So it's always going to come down to a negative, and then I'm always going to top it up with enough for like the next 2 weeks of work. And I don't know, that's just going to be a lot of paper. So I might start condensing it in like, instead of each individual day, do like a week at a time. There are going to be days that I work from home, but right now I'm just intending to go into the office 5 days a week. So I don't want to waste so many pages on something that is a guaranteed expense that I'm really only writing it down because I'm trying to track everything, but I know it's going to be spent. I can't escape the parking lot without having spent the $8. They just won't let you go if you don't pay. And gas. $50 bi-weekly. I really only have to get gas about once a month. So right now I've just got deposits in this one. So I'm sitting at $100 is sitting in that variable sinking fund. So those are all of them. This is sort of like the equivalent of cash envelopes, like the tracking for them. Instead of having individual cash envelopes that I would put a little note in or write on the physical envelope to track all of these different things, this is all cash in the sense that it's on a debit card, so it's not contributing to my debt in any way because I cannot go negative on this card. I can only spend the money that I have on it, and the app is really good at keeping like an up-to-date balance showing for me. So if ever for whatever reason I completely lose track of like what I've spent or what's going on, the app will tell me as well how much I have sitting on the card, and it also tracks really well every individual expenditure that I make. So if I don't get a receipt, it doesn't really matter because it will tell me exactly what I spent the money on. I've been trying to collect receipts just for my own sanity, I suppose, but I don't know if I'll keep doing that. But since I did try to collect receipts for this past chunk, I got a little folder. Let's get that out there. So it's just a really simple one. It's only got 5 slots, and right now I've only got 4 of them filled. So I've got Striker, Fun, Miscellaneous, and Groceries, because I'm never going to have a receipt from the work parking, or I've even forgotten some of my own categories. Which one? Takeout, because takeout is always in an app. You know, there's no receipts. So I just put those categories, and I have the one in case I start getting receipts from something. And I filled it so far. So I've got Striker's ones from when I did a shopping, and nothing in the fun category yet. I've got stuff in miscellaneous and stuff in groceries. Yeah, so if I collect receipts going forward, I will just put them in the appropriate category. Really more for like in case I need to reference back to them for some reason. If I have an actual like important to the budget receipt, I put it in my proper budgeting book in the little envelope that goes, or in the little pocket that goes with the month. So this is really just for helping to keep track of like the variable spending receipts for all of this little process, in case I need to go back to reference something to figure out like what in the world did I buy for that amount of money in the miscellaneous category. You never know. I mean, maybe I'll end up really not collecting receipts and not using this very much, but it cost me an entire $1.50, which is tracked in the book for the dollar store, and I figure it can't hurt to have it in case it's something that I need. And like I said, if I don't use it, if I end up not tracking receipts or keeping them, I don't think there's any harm in starting to do it and then stopping later on. So this is how I am doing my digital money envelopes and how I'm keeping track of it. And it's really going to be very reliant on me keeping this and the version that I have on my phone up to date. So, you know, a little bit of like growing upness is happening, I suppose. We'll see how that goes. If I really suck at it, I may just decide to go to actual old school, pull out the cash and put it into cute little envelopes and do it that way. But so far I like the fact that I just tap my phone, and there's something comforting about knowing that the money that I'm spending is coming off of that MasterCard debit that I've loaded with only the money that can be spent for these things. So I'm not like screwing up my bigger budget by accidentally overspending from like the account where like my car payment's going to come out of and other things like that. It's nice. It, you know, makes you think that you're a little bit in control, even though you're really not, but we can all pretend. And yeah, so this is it. This is how I'm doing the envelopes. How are you guys doing your budget? Are you doing money envelopes? I don't know how many people do that. It seems to be common in a lot of the budgeting videos that I still watch. But also those are videos that are done by people in the States, and so you don't have as many coins as we do up here in Canada. So budgeting with actual cash can become a real pain in that your purse becomes super heavy because you can have like 20 bucks and just like a little fistful of coins. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, let me know. How are you doing yours? Are you doing actual like cash? Are you doing it digital? Are you something completely different, which I would love to hear about because I'm all about learning new things. Yeah, that is it. I never know how to say goodbye to these things. So I'm going to head off. Stay safe out there. I will talk to you in the next video. Budget well, my friends. Bye.